my
Hello.
brain may always be
What?
elsewhere. Oh, hi. I was just saying my brain is elsewhere. Let's find it.
Yeah, tell us something we don't already know, Gia.
Yeah.
Oh, but I'm just kidding. A little more housekeeping regarding birthday wishes. More came in. Lovely, lovely people. And one person, Gail, one of our Facebook friends, shares a birthday with you.
Oh,
So
happy birthday,
happy
Gail.
birthday, Gail.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I don't know if you saw it, but two people, Alice and Lorraine, asked about the instruments you played. So I thought they might
Oh,
like a
okay.
little
No.
explanation of what you've got going on there.
All right. Well, I mainly play the harmonica or blues
Hmm.
harp, if you want to sound cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and then I bang on a washboard a little bit too, but that's,
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
mostly for looks.
No.
Mm.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Just so if you're not looking cool, you hang a washboard off your neck and then you're like, whoa, she is so cool.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. So that's
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
you're
But
thinking there. And also what surprised me, and I know this is going to sound stupid, but
it's a
uh
safe space. Come on.
okay. I hadn't realized before that there are harmonicas in all different keys.
Right. Yeah. What made
Mhm.
you suddenly realize that?
Well, Gia, once you gave a workshop at the library
Oh,
where I
I
work.
did. Now, talk about
Yeah.
mayhem. See, that's why I'm
Yeah,
worked up
that was
about this thing.
that was funny. Yeah, it was a room full of people,
Yeah.
including a couple of kids, and
Yeah.
we had supplied them all with harmonicas, so we
Yeah.
had to decide which key to get the harmonicas in, and, I forget what we went with, like G
I
or A
think we
or
went with a
something.
C or an A. I can't
A
remember.
C,
But
okay, yeah, yeah, but
but
that
yeah,
was
so they're in
I
different
learned that.
keys. So when the guitar player, when the rest of the band changes keys, so they're playing in a different place on the frets, but I'm
Mhm,
grabbing a different key harmonica
mhm,
for
yeah.
diatonic harmonica. But we don't want to get down in the weeds about that. You know.
But still, that's to the outsider, it looks like you just have one kind of, like you might not notice that somebody's swapping them out
That's
for
true. Yeah,
that
yeah.
reason. So
Yeah, it's mildly interesting. Not as interesting is the fact that wombats poop in
in
square
in
like
squares,
cubes.
I didn't have time
Yeah,
to confirm that, so I'm just going to continue to
it's
believe you.
I,
And
it's the fact that you're doubting me is kind of what cracks me up. That like it's like shady information because I've brought it to the table.
I'm thinking maybe it was part of some COVID
A
fueled
dream, a
fever
COVID
dream.
dream. I'm dreaming about wombats.
And other creatures in the shapes of their poop.
What are you thinking about? Oh, anyway, well, yeah, thank you all for all the birthday wishes and yeah, and your interest in the music. Yeah, and thanks a lot for just putting that out there. You speaking
Mm.
of you big old wombat turd, that was kind of bold of you, but
I know, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
that's okay.
Uh,
I have to be comfortable being a public figure.
we've alluded to the fact that you are a
We
musician and
we
that you
have.
play
Yes.
gigs, that sometimes seem to be more important than our podcast, but,
Sometimes that's why we're here early tonight because I got to go
that's
to a
true.
music thing tomorrow.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
anyway, I did actually watch Hospital today.
Yes,
I
uh-huh.
didn't skip half of it or anything like that. So
With phone calls from important people,
yeah,
okay.
I should be current now.
Okay, as am I, and before we get into it too much, we had just 2 episodes to talk about, but, to be honest, I think things are getting maybe a little too complicated for me, like
You need to have like a chart going.
yeah, maybe like one of those dry erase boards or something to map everything out, like,
All right. Well,
especially
where are the trouble areas? We'll see
where
if we
w
can
okay, where did
untangle them.
I get sort of gummed up in my thoughts, when, um when they had the little press conference and which was fun. It was fun.
It was
And
fun, but I have to say I didn't turn away, but my TV froze. So
oh
I didn't see how did Martin nobody pushed Martin, he just fell or
no,
something?
right? Yeah, he was reaching
Okay.
for I don't know the receipt or something, and Tracy sort of stepped out of the way, and he just took a header.
Okay. 'Cause that's
So
I think
yeah,
that's
there
the only
was
thing I
that.
missed really. But yeah.
Yeah. So I was trying to like map out. Okay, so Cody is saying that this was all on him. The ketamine that was in the car.
Right. Well, he
That
had
was
purchased it for legit horsey
yeah,
reasons. Yeah.
yeah. And I thought Cody was great in that little scene. I
You're a
really
little bit in love with Cody now, I can tell.
I was gonna say I feel like such a fool because I couldn't stand him at
You are
all.
a
And
fool.
now I almost have pants feelings for the guy.
No, he is very appealing because he's got that kind of like you know, he'll still be a little bit of a scoundrel, but
Mhm.
he's sort of got a good heart, like he
Yeah, 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 and he seems like he's just sort of broken in now, like he's sort of flexing his little comedy chops.
yeah, they
Uh,
just didn't know what to do with him initially, I
yeah,
think. And,
yeah, right, whether to make him like a guy who was ultimately good-ish or just a bad guy.
yeah, I think he's
Um
good-ish. That's a good way to put it.
Good-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I one of my favorite lines was when, they were talking about, like, "So you didn't know all of this was going on?" And he's like, "Well, I don't really watch the news. There's so much sadness in the world."
Yeah.
That was my favorite line of the episode, I think. Although Marty had a good line too when he, thought maybe Tracy was sundowning or something.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, the sundowning thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I kinda love that expression even though it's rooted in
It's
actual
rooted in
symptoms.
I I think I've talked before about my father sundowning after a
Oh,
surgery, and
yeah, I feel like, yeah, I sundown. I think you might
it's
sundown.
hey, wait a minute. But
Okay.
my father was sundowning, like, not like a mild sundown, but I mean, he was full
Yeah,
on
yeah.
hallucinating, and it was
Mm,
scary.
mhm.
And I like raised holy hell in that hospital. What the hell
Yeah,
did you do to my father? He
yeah.
didn't come in like this. Like, what?
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
fixed his knee, but now he's bonkos, you know?
Mhm,
He's like
mhm.
seeing lizards and, talking to dead
Right,
people. And I
right.
mean, he was like nutso. But
Yeah, that's
anyway, that was
yeah.
a good line. Um, so what
But,
are you confused about?
well, so I'm trying to figure out now, so, um, did did Drew plant the ketamine in Tracy's car?
Well, I guess that's an interesting question, is it? Because we don't really know that he did, do we?
That's just one question I have. There's so
We
many
assume we assume that he did.
right? And he had that little vial, right? That he put in an envelope
Yes.
at some
Yeah.
point? Mhm.
Yeah. And so I think that's why we would assume that. Like,
Yeah.
why else would he need that? Why did he have that?
Right,
He didn't.
right.
Yeah.
So if he did do it, then I don't know, what's the point of letting him off the hook for that?
I guess it's not wasn't so much about letting him off the hook, but just getting Tracy out
Getting
of that.
Tracy out from under their
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
scheme to yeah,
Yeah.
I guess, it all
To,
felt so
to be honest with you,
confusing.
I was so distracted by he was talking about Hades,
Yes, yes, the horse,
and he
uh-huh.
talked about it being like a prize show horse.
Oh, dear, I see where this is
Yeah.
going. Yeah,
And do
mhm,
you remember we met Hades?
mhm,
Supposedly, Hades
mhm.
was that broken down cow pony, that pinto that
Is
Cody
that
showed
like
up.
is that like talking smack about a horse, a cow pony? Ouch. What did you call me? Like some sort of wombat thing, but you could call me a cow pony, and I think that might sting harder. Wow.
But he was talking about it like it's this prized thoroughbred, that, and it's like
Mhm.
it was just a tough little cow pony that. Remember that when he showed up to help, what's her name
Yeah,
when she had a flat
Molly.
tire,
Mhm,
yeah.
mhm,
I mean,
mhm.
cute enough little pinto. No
Okay.
problem. But
You don't mean that. I could tell you don't mean that.
there was just no point in talking about it like the prized
Yeah.
horse of the stable that they're, it's like
Mhm.
that's like a horse that you'd use to give lessons to children that you've been, giving lessons to for the past 30 years or something, and you're using
Like a
this
petting zoo.
safe little,
Uh-huh.
no, like a lesson pony, not a petting zoo, like an actual, kids that take lessons, and you want
Uh-huh.
a safe mount,
Yeah.
something that's
A
just
safe
gonna
mount. That's a
plod
nice
along.
euphemism for something else. I
Yeah,
like that. I might use
who
that
doesn't
if
want
I
a safe mount?
I'm never gonna have the opportunity to use that, but I'm gonna have it locked and loaded.
Put it in your novel.
Thank you.
Give
Yeah.
me a footnote.
I sure will. Hmm.
Anyway, so that was annoying me because I was like, do they think we're stupid? Like
I love how you think that the whole viewership is horse
it's
people.
in an outrage.
I know. Everybody's storming out of the room like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's it."
I mean, that's the kind of little pony you could like light firecrackers next to and be like, yep, and that's a good thing. I'm not saying that's a bad
Yeah.
thing. But
Okay. Uh-huh.
it's not your show horse that you're.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Mhm.
that was distracting for me. And then I thought like then I did wonder about ketamine
Mhm. Mhm.
and like can somebody. I mean, so it's prescribed. I'm guessing by a vet,
Mhm.
and then
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
because I didn't have any experience with drugs. Too many experiences with drugs with horses.
That was the one place where you didn't.
Yeah. No, I did. I had a horse that had some what they call navicular, and I can't quite remember. I think it was like a horsey kind of arthritis,
Oh,
and I
uh-huh.
think we were giving her something. I don't
Uh-huh.
remember. She'd kind
Mm.
of be. I feel it now. I feel you now, lady. I
Yeah,
remember. Like now, I
yeah,
know what you were dealing with.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but
Uh-huh.
anyway, so yeah, good point. We don't truly know if Drew set Tracy up. I just assumed he did because he's,
Yeah, I think he did, and now
he's
he's
a heel.
sorta
He's a
he must
scoundrel.
have sorta mixed feelings because he's off the hook for that, I guess, but he's got nothing to use against Tracy anymore, right?
Right, right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I get the whole thing was just it felt very trumped up. Like Tracy would have
Yeah.
never even pretended to agree to that
Mhm.
um,
Right, right.
little,
Yeah.
But it was fun having her team up with Cody. That's a fun friendship.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, and we hadn't seen them together in quite a while.
yeah, so that's
So
fun always.
that was always, always fun. Yeah.
And then of course the Kai thing like happened even sooner than I thought it would happen.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Kai. I also like the scene where Kai, Drew, and Marty are back in the office, and Marty and Drew are acting like a couple of clowns, and Kai is this like sincere boy who's trying to
Yeah,
just
he
be
just seems
helpful, you
so
know?
young. Yeah, he just
Yeah,
seems terribly like so much younger than Trina, you know.
yeah,
He seems
yeah. Mm-hmm.
uh I kind of have a hard time even thinking like what would she be attracted to in him? Like Spencer
Mm.
was like this worldly
Yeah,
um almost world weary, he'd been everywhere and seen
yeah,
everything.
yeah. That's true. Yeah.
And Kai's like this kind of golden retriever sort of dude that,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah,
a little pup that just. Yeah, and
yeah.
now, in spite of everybody saying
Mhm,
that Drew
mhm,
is going to use you, Drew, you need to be
mhm,
careful. He's like thrown in after listening to Trina say,
mhm,
like his girlfriend. Like you think
mhm,
he'd just hold his tongue just out of
mhm.
respect for like if he wants to get any ever again.
Yeah, ever again. Mhm.
But
Probably
no,
not gonna
no,
happen.
he's like,
No.
nope, I know better than everyone around me.
Yeah, well, I think in his, defense, I think he was basing his opinion maybe too much, but almost entirely on how Drew had treated him. And
Yeah.
I was trying
Yeah.
to put myself in his shoes if somebody was really good to me, but a shithead to everybody else. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't think I could ignore that. I hope I couldn't ignore that. And as Kai is such a decent person, you wouldn't think he would ignore that either, you know?
You'd think you'd just be a little bit measured in your
Yeah.
actions and just kind of
Yeah.
like maybe I'll just sort of hold
Right.
off on throwing in completely with this guy till,
Right.
'cause
Yeah.
I've been
Yeah.
warned. Everybody's warned me.
Yeah. And do you
But
think that
it's a
was
soap opera, of course, so
It is, I guess, at the end of the day, just
yeah.
a well, not just a soap opera, but also Drew was sort of throwing a little pity party for himself, which drew this out of Kai, like Drew was
Yeah.
blaming
Yeah.
himself for everything, and I wondered if that didn't sound like him, so maybe he was just playing that role for Kai's benefit, you think?
Yeah, maybe because I mean, that's another thing. Like, doesn't all this stuff come across to Kai as like sordid and shitty? Like, who is he?
Yeah, I
Like
know. Like, Kai sort of blocked
scummy.
out the
Like, this is
body
pretty
shot
scummy.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, which I know we talked about before. It's like, well, right, he was drugged, but he sure seemed comfortable with the idea of body shots. Like who
Yeah.
already knows what a body shot is? I didn't, you know.
Yeah, it's like he'd been doing those his whole life,
Yeah, you
except
know,
for this little stretch of time.
right? Like maybe frat boys know about it, but he's like
Right,
what?
right.
Supposed to be, like he's in his 50s or something, and he's still like, yeah, body shots,
Yeah.
you know. So,
Yeah, yeah, right, right, that's true, that's all
mm.
true, so, yeah, Kai could have probably taken that into account too.
So if I'm Trina, I'm dumping Kai immediately. I think
Yeah.
I'm dumping men all around town, I guess. It's
All
like,
around town, okay,
yeah, that's what
okay.
I'd be doing.
Yeah,
Another scene I liked a lot was
mhm.
Michael and Willow in the little like atrium
Ooh,
area of
yeah,
the living
uh-huh.
room.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, I feel like we haven't quite seen our new Michael do a lot yet.
Mhm, yeah.
And I felt like we saw a little bit of chops there with the crying, the unexpected
Yes,
tear.
yes, I know, I was having trouble believing that was a real tear.
I was a little moved by it. I was
Yeah,
like, wow,
uh-huh, mhm.
like instead of being angry, I mean, he was angry, but
Yeah,
he was like saddened by this whole thing.
yeah, he's kinda torn up about it, knowing the impact it's gonna have on the kids,
Yeah. And
Mm.
Willow like just keeps doubling down harder and
Yeah,
harder.
yeah, she does. She just doesn't understand. And I thought I agree that was a really good scene. And I liked how Willow, like, even though I didn't agree with her position, but I thought she did a good job like firing back.
Yeah, yeah, she's fired up. It's a shame that she's fighting for this cause that's so wrong.
So
You know,
wrong.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, she
it's
couldn't
gonna
be more
kill her.
more yeah, her
Yeah.
loyalty is very misplaced, but I think, like, I kind of want, as tragic as it's gonna be, I kind of want her to wind up married to Drew and separated from everyone, and that's when she'll descend into complete madness.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that would be, and I hope they go there because we've gotten a glimpse of her being broken down, and now if she goes into full,
Yeah.
when she realizes who he really is and all the
Yeah.
things he's done to manipulate her,
Mhm.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
gonna be something to reckon with, and to reckon with her own actions.
Right,
Um,
right, and plus he's gonna be dangerous because we know he doesn't give a shit about the kids.
right, yeah.
So who knows what he's really capable of?
I still, every now and then, I still think, are we being set up for a summer murder mystery?
Yeah,
They
that's
like
that's kinda how it looked, but I hope they don't do that, at least not right away.
I hope they don't too, because I mean, Drew is so fun to hate at this point. Like
Yeah.
as much as
Mhm.
we like rail about that actor and everything, like
Mhm.
what isn't he doing a good job of being this
Yeah. Yeah.
terribly hateable person?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
It's probably a lot more fun for him than being the earlier Drew.
Oh, yeah, it's gotta be, and everybody in town has an opinion about him.
Yeah,
and really, I think Willow's the only one who has a positive opinion about him.
because he used to be like a toasted cheese sandwich, and
Mhm.
now what is he? I don't
He's
know.
a piece of square wombat dung.
Yeah, well, I was trying to keep it in a food analogy,
Okay.
like
Alright.
that's a cheese sandwich is a pretty bland, easily digested, and so what's
Delicious.
what's some kind of spiky sandwich? A really, like
Mhm.
he's like the 10th hot wing on Hot Ones.
Oh, yeah, yeah, when almost nobody can bear it.
Yeah, I watched one with Bill Murray the other day
Oh,
and
that'd be
he
fun.
just kind of hammered through the whole thing.
He must
Some
not have
people
many
just
taste buds left.
Yeah, some people just and they brought whatever, I forget that guy's name, Pete Davidson, the Saturday Night Live guy.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Is that right? Anyway,
yeah.
and he's like dying. He's slobbering and sweating, and
Ugh,
it's people
yeah.
are obviously made quite differently to handle
Yeah,
these.
yeah, definitely. I don't think I could get past, like, 1 or 2 on that.
Yeah, I don't think I could either. I'm like I can't go higher than a medium salsa, really.
Mhm. Yeah, me neither. Me
That's
neither.
about that's about where I land.
Mhm. Yep.
Anyway, yeah, Drew is believably despicable. So kudos to that
Mhm.
actor for pulling that
Mhm.
off.
Yeah. I thought Nina had an opportunity and maybe she hasn't completely lost the chance to defend herself. But when Willow saw her talking to Jason, and Willow kind of came up,
Oh
sort of
yeah, yeah,
assuming the worst. Nina could have said, I was trying to lobby for you, to get some time with your kids and earn some points. Don't you think that way?
yeah. She could have come up with something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what's going to trigger the big reveal of the secret. And
Mm.
then we've been talking about the Germany Baden-Baden secret of
Yes. Yes.
Willow going to
Mm-hmm.
visit and being turned away because Drew had
Mm-hmm.
made this phone call. So
Mm-hmm.
they explored that, but they never really nobody was like,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah, I know.
or
I
at least
wondered if
not visibly.
right, right. I know. I'm hoping that Michael will walk away and think, all right, so what did happen there? If this person told
Well, it'd be
Willow,
better if Willow walked away and thought,
that's true too, but
yeah.
she's sort of believes that Michael would lie at this point.
Yeah, she's completely brainwashed, she really is.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like
Mm-hmm.
the Patty Hearst syndrome or something.
Mm-hmm.
What's that
Mm-hmm.
called? The,
Is that
um,
Stockholm
Stockholm
syndrome?
Stockholm
Yeah.
syndrome, yeah,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I think
Okay.
so.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, poor Willow.
Um, yeah, poor Willow. But yeah, she's
Mm.
also kind of fun to watch at this point because you see somebody
Yeah.
who's so broken and yet she's got this vein of strength in her, but it's so
Mhm.
misapplied at the
Yeah.
moment, it's
Yeah.
like
Right, right. Yep.
Like, remember back in her teacher days when she fought so
Mhm.
hard to keep Charlotte from being a bully and fought with
Yeah,
Nina,
yeah.
and she was so in the right on that, I
Mhm.
thought, and she
Mhm.
was so
Yeah.
strong, and she seems like this little waif of a
Mhm.
human that could be
Mhm.
blown over by, big bad Nina, but she didn't
Mhm.
she didn't take her shit, she stood her
Right.
ground and
Mhm.
she was right then.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
but
when she
now she's
believes she's
yeah.
right, she doesn't
Yeah,
hesitate
she's
to fight.
Yeah, she's a strong person, a strong
Mhm.
advocate for whatever it is she's believing in, but it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's
Mhm.
just going to be so awful, I think.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. They really could have a lot of fun with that, as it all
Yeah.
plays out.
Do you see Ferncliff in her future?
Yeah, some place. She's gonna go someplace,
Yeah.
hopefully,
That'd
with
be a
some
fun
good
t-shirt. We haven't
snacks.
had a good t-shirt idea in a while. Like, I see Ferncliff in your future.
That's a
And
good one,
nobody would
yeah.
know. Nobody would know. It'd be
Right,
like when we
right.
wear our table at the Tano t-shirts and
Yeah.
absolutely nobody knows.
I know. People just
Even the
sort of
people
distance
that come
themselves.
to find this podcast are like, "What is that title? What?"
Yeah.
Oh, somebody had a question on Facebook. I did see this, but I didn't answer it.
Oh.
Why did we call ourselves Gia and Keisha?
Oh, that came up recently, did it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
You always hesitate, like you don't believe me. You're like,
well,
you're so suspicious of me.
I checked the page just before we came on. But
Not
and
very
actually I saw
well.
something else that I forgot now to bring up as well. Um, well, I think Gia and Keisha, the origins of that were well, we were both fans of General Hospital at the time, and I don't. In your family too, Gia, does everybody have a nickname? It seems like
Oh yeah, yeah,
that's how my
yeah.
family is, and so yeah. I hardly ever get called by my real name ever.
Yeah, you have a
Even
bunch of nicknames. You're like
yeah,
Reba and Neebs
yeah.
and all kinds of
Yeah,
weird.
and at
Yeah.
work, I have all these different nicknames, so it's funny when I hear my actual name. But, I think Gia and Keisha were both characters on General Hospital back in the early days of you watching.
Keisha Keisha dated Jason pre-car accident, right? Wasn't she his girlfriend
I think that's right,
at the
yeah, and
time of the car accident? Like back when he was still a med student, I think.
yeah, that's probably right, yeah, and Gia was a model. They're 2
Yeah, that I
beautiful,
chose it because
beautiful
she was a model.
well, there are these beautiful young black women with nothing but, good things in their futures, and we're middle-aged white women, so it just seemed to fit, right?
It
That
just, yeah, I don't, I have no recollection of us consciously saying, let's
no,
call her.
right, it
Yeah,
just
it
sorta
just, yeah,
happened. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, because we're weirdos, but yeah, we have a lot of other names. Yeah, but like my one brother, I don't think I've called him anything but Toad for like 50 years. His name
Huh.
is not Toad,
It's
but
no, no, yeah. Hmm,
Toad.
right, right.
Anyway, they
Yeah.
call me all kinds of things. Yeah.
Yeah, same here, but anyway, yeah,
Anyway, so we hope we answered that. Just because they were
yeah.
two beautiful young characters, and
Beautiful, yeah, and
we
they
envied
didn't
them.
last as long as they should have on the show, I didn't think, either of those characters.
I think Keisha was she part of like the Justice and Mary May
Ward,
um
yeah, the Ward
ward,
family,
like
that's
that
right, yeah,
family? Yeah,
she
and they
was,
kind of
yeah,
disappeared. I don't know, I can't recall what happened there, but they were kind of a
yeah,
big feature for a while.
mhm,
Justice and yeah.
mhm, right,
I don't remember who the Gia character was connected to or what her story was. I don't have much.
mm, yeah, I can't
Mm,
remember now either, but,
anyway, I'm sure other
yeah,
people will remember.
yeah.
Um, okay, back to our current plot lines. What else you got?
Okay, let's see. Well, we had this is another thing that was getting too complicated for me. Okay, the Elizabeth, Christina, Alexis, Rick
Oh,
situation and who knows what and
I think that
now
wasn't that where we got all tied up the other night when we were kind of
yeah.
drunk.
Yeah.
We were like,
Yeah,
wait a minute,
we don't wanna get
wait.
into that again, but there was like another layer introduced now, right? Because now
Now Alexis, I know it is
oh, here
ridiculous.
we go. Here
So
we go.
Alexis now knows that Elizabeth knows that Christina
Yes.
cut the brakes,
Yes.
but Elizabeth does not know anything about the blackmail yet. That
That's
was what they were
correct.
pondering. They were like, should we tell Elizabeth that?
Yes. Mhm.
Um, so does that clear anything up?
Yeah, I think it does. Yeah, it's just like I'm always trying to like sort it out while the scene is happening, and I just
Yeah.
feel like it's too much. I just want to enjoy what's in front of me, you know, and
And I
not try
liked
to.
how Alexis was like, and you, Christina, you need to stop this little thing you've got going about trying to break up
Yeah,
Ava and Rick. And then very next scene, she's like,
yeah.
okay, Cody, she's like, she's not a strong listener.
No, not a good listener, no. And also, in the scenes from tomorrow, we saw or maybe it was the end of today, we saw, Elizabeth and Alexis at the hospital. Alexis seemed like she was about to warn her off Rick or something like that, and Rick
And Rick's lurking
was
around the corner.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah, I don't like that we're headed towards a Rick Elizabeth storyline again.
I don't
Um,
either. I was like, it was encouraging when Lucas was sort of trying to confront her about
yeah,
that.
trying to get her to sort of define, what are you doing with him, basically.
Yeah, and, like, on the one hand, she seemed like she was saying, "I know who he is, it's not gonna happen again,"
Yeah.
and then she's like, "Well, but there's things I like about him," and it's like, "No, no,
He's softer
no."
now. He's softer now. Yeah.
Because he's got a lot of money from Ace's inheritance, that's
Yeah.
what's
I
making
don't
him
know, but I
soft.
mean, wouldn't it be lovely to see her in a relationship? Like I think my favorite relationship she had. I know you're a fan of the
Mhm,
Jason one, but I think she and
mhm.
Franco, like
Oh,
to
that was
me,
a great, yeah, yeah.
that was the pinnacle for me, and it was the
Mhm,
heartbreak when they killed him off was almost
mhm.
more than
Yeah.
I could take.
Yeah, I agree, yeah, that was the best relationship
And
because
they took such a long time to unfold it too, because of course
yeah.
he was a mass murderer, and they had
Mhm.
to overcome that.
And then he became a safe mount.
Yes, but she had a lot of feelings around that, of course.
Yeah, yeah, right,
And
but yeah, I like the whole artistic sort of thing that they kind of both had,
yeah, yeah, and they even had like stuff where he sort of um, you know, made her feel less than about her artwork.
Mhm,
There was a lot of meat to their
mhm,
relationship.
mhm,
I
mhm,
know you don't like
yeah.
meat. There was a lot of tofu there. Or is it their relationship was like a complicated veggie burger.
Ooh,
Yeah.
nice. Good save, Gia, good save.
Yeah.
Yeah, and plus, I think what made it, like, extra special was the way they incorporated the kids into that relationship because he was
Yeah.
so good with that part of it too, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we miss you,
Yeah,
Franco. Did he end up on another
we
show or
really
anything?
do. I don't know that he has yet. I would think people would be trying to snap him up for
I would think
something.
so too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, the thought of Elizabeth and Rick together does not make me too happy. I mean,
No.
I'll always
Mm-mm.
come around, of course, to whatever they do, but
That's gonna be a
I
tough
can't
one to
even think
sell.
of like who would be a fun guy for her at this point with what's
Yeah,
on
we
our
have
palette at the moment.
right, right. Have to give that some thought. I mean, like Isaiah sort of comes to mind, but that's maybe a little too, I don't know. I don't know. It's not
to
really.
to in-house. He's
Yeah,
isn't he? No, I guess he'd be around the same age as Lucky, I guess. He seems younger to me, but
yeah, he does
um
seem younger. Um,
and he's just man about town annoying
right, right.
people right now. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What did you think of the pool scene with Portia and Jordan?
Tiresome.
Yeah,
Tiresome.
yeah, yeah. It was.
I
I was.
don't like pitting women against each other like that.
It was so cliched, wasn't
It
it?
was
And
very cliched, the throw in the
yeah,
drink,
yeah, yeah. Like he could see that coming a mile away.
I couldn't believe there wasn't a slap or.
Yeah, or a pushing of someone into the pool.
It would have been fun
But
if she had like if she had somehow caused if Portia had caused like a wardrobe malfunction, like flicked that top of the bikini top or something to
yeah.
embarrass her or something big
Ooh,
like that.
ooh,
That would be
yeah.
mean, wouldn't it?
That that would be mean, yeah. That would certainly be mean, yeah.
Um,
Um,
so
but
yeah,
yeah.
tiresome. I don't know.
Yeah, neither of them looked good in that scene really, as
No,
people.
because Jordan's being. I mean, Isaiah was being kind of a nosy pain in the butt, but had
Mhm.
some. He made a point. It's like,
Yes,
yeah, you
yes.
weren't just talking to him.
Mm-mm.
You were,
Right, right.
yeah, you were making googly eyes. Googly.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, that was a little too
So
much.
that's a little tiresome. And then
Mhm.
Portia goes to talk to
Curtis.
Curtis, and they
Mhm.
get waylaid with the whole like news of Jacinda
Mhm.
and all that crap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Which,
right.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
That's another thing. That's another part of that whole ketamine thing that's just becoming like there's too many facets to that thing now for me to keep track of.
Yeah. Yeah, and
You
why didn't
know,
we get to see Felicia in Australia,
that would have been
like
fun, wouldn't it?
hunting down the hua? You know?
In some sort of like safari getup and
Yeah,
binoculars,
yeah,
you
like
think, in the
peeking around
outback.
the potted ferns and stuff, looking for the hua in her natural habitat. We like
Oh
sex
god.
worker, sex worker.
Right, right. But that part,
Jacinda.
that little piece of that storyline is sort of like Nina sleeping with Drew at this point. It feels like it's farther and farther
It's
removed,
yeah, it's too far
you
away
know?
to have so much impact anymore. Yeah,
Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. We'll see what happens there.
yeah.
Um,
What else did we have? We had some fun stuff with the boys at the
the
pool.
boys, and I gotta say,
Yeah,
like, Danny is like effortlessly teenager, you know? I
yes,
mean,
he
it
really
almost
is.
seems like he's
Yeah,
not even acting because he's,
like maybe his
you
name
know,
is really Danny, and
yeah, he thinks he's
maybe
at
he
a
doesn't
pool.
know. Maybe he doesn't even know he's on a
He's on a
show.
show.
He's like, I just got this cool, great, easy gig
His mom's
at
like,
a
"I
pool.
got you
Yeah,
a job at a pool." Uh, there might be
you have
cameras
to wear
around,
some
just
silly
ignore
khaki
them.
shorts, but yeah, he really is. Yeah, he's a little
You
bit
know?
flippant and he's cute,
Yeah, like,
but he's
when he's like,
yeah,
"I gotta throw these in the dryer, I don't know,
yeah,
I'll figure it out."
yeah.
He cracked me up. He sounds like just such a typical kid.
Yeah, that was kind of cute. It was a little bit cute, and but the fact that they had to make it seem like it was a complicated job was quite silly.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Gio being all serious, we got to see Gio without his shirt on, so
yeah.
he must have
Have
that
that
in
in
his
his
contract.
contract, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I loved it when, like, they were about to throw the towel. They were gonna you reuse a
we use a
towel.
towel. Yeah, and
That
that's
was a
so teenage boy. They
Yeah,
would,
that was a good detail, you
Yeah,
know?
that was a good little detail. There's some weird details, like what was the deal with Lucy and that basket of oranges? And then
Oh,
they
that
look more like
the
grapefruit when
dragon
they
fruit.
started.
Yeah, yeah, they did look like more like grapefruit, b and then you had the dragon fruit
Oh
juice
yeah,
thing that
the
was
juice thing. Yeah, like is that a real deal? Like, do we
I
know
don't know,
about
it's
this?
like Rick's signature beverage, I guess. Was it just to tie Rick to both Elizabeth and Ava? Is that
I
why they've got
guess so.
people drinking
Yeah.
that? That was weird.
And
Yeah, the
Ava's, it doesn't
oranges.
look very good. Like that, I don't know. They
Yeah.
could have some ice in the glass or something.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, the
Mhm.
oranges, was that symbolic or something? Those supposed to mean something to us?
I thought that was odd too, but, I guess
It
that's
didn't mean
Lucy.
anything to you. Okay, it was just
Didn't mean
Lucy.
anything to me, no,
Yeah.
no. I kinda liked that scene a little bit, just in that they were sort of, like they had a certain fondness for each other, you know?
Yeah,
Lucy and
yeah.
Sonny, like, she didn't push too hard like she often does, you know?
Yeah, like she always does. God.
Yeah.
Um,
But,
but
I thought
yeah,
that was
anyway,
kinda
okay.
nice.
So, well, that makes me feel better because I was like, that's so random. It must mean something.
Yeah, maybe they do. Maybe we both are missing the
What else did
symbolic
we have?
nature of the
Oh, well,
orange.
today we had Dante and Brooklyn, the little
Mhm,
confrontation there,
mhm.
and Dante had a line like in the scenes for tomorrow where it's like, oh, still in asshole mode.
Hmm.
It was something about something to he's obviously speaking to Jason, saying something about
Mhm.
I just
Oh,
thought you
yeah,
let
yeah.
him run wild because you couldn't be bothered to
Mhm,
control him or something
mhm,
like that. Some real
mhm.
asshole.
Yeah, yeah, I wasn't sure what he was saying there, but I was hoping that he wasn't back to being that way with Jason.
He sounded to me like he was, and he sounded even with
Yeah,
Brooklyn like,
yeah,
I'm still mad at Chase, and I'm still mad. Like, why? You don't have a
yeah.
right to be mad at Chase.
No, no, he really, really
Like,
doesn't.
you got a right to be mad at Brooklyn to a degree, but
Mhm,
not
mhm.
Chase. You know.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I didn't
I mean, the
like
only
that.
thing that I liked was that at least he acknowledged that he'd been a jerk face to Geo
To
before.
Geo, right.
Um,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, I don't know what they're. I don't know. I think it'll all get worked out in the softball, you know,
On the diamond,
tournament on the
the field.
diamond. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe. Let's hope. Let's hope there's some progress made there.
But they could just go hound him at the pool. They could just spend every day at the pool, like annoying him while he's trying to work.
I, I didn't really like Lulu being there at the pool. Like that was supposed to be cute, and her
It
like,
was supposed to be cute. We're not ready for her to be cute yet, are we?
no, we don't buy it really because
Yeah,
she's been
yeah,
anything but cute for quite a while now.
right. She's been very annoying, and I don't like that. I feel like Gio's kind of gonna like be buddies with her over this
Yeah,
whole thing, and I
yeah,
don't like
and I
that
don't
either.
right, and I don't think she minds that might happen, you know?
Yeah,
It's
it's
another
like
way to
another
stick
way to,
it to Brooklyn.
yeah, jinx. I was gonna say the whole sentence. Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. I did think Rocco had loosened up a bit at the pool, like, he was a little
Yeah,
more like he
yeah.
had a smile and, a little sass. I
Well,
like
he'd
to
probably
see
had a
him.
couple drinks before he got there.
He thinks he's just hanging out with his friend too. They're like, "Why can't we swim in the pool?"
That employees can't swim in the pool. Like, can they swim in their off hours? I mean, I get you can't go in your uniform, but can you swim like
Well,
at any time?
I would think maybe not. If
You
it's
think they
supposed to
get
be
a
like
do you
sort of
get a
a
shift
fancy
meal?
place. Maybe, but
I do
then
like
like
the term the shift meal. You get a shift
yeah,
meal.
yeah,
That'd be
but
a good
then
name for
like
a
when
band. You know, L.C.
true,
Williams and the shift meal,
yeah, or cow pony. Um,
the cow ponies. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, it was funny. Like they're all like indignant that they can't go swimming, and he's like, "Just go to the Quartermain pool." It's
I
like,
know.
well,
Yeah,
true. You know, yeah, you can go there and have Sasha bring out cookies or something. Although I guess she's on maternity leave,
he's
isn't
on
she?
maternity leave, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of cute. But yeah, I had the same reaction to Lulu. I'm like, oh, you're not cute
Mm,
with your little hat and your
no.
little cutoffs. So
No.
like, I'm still pissed at you.
Yeah.
So
And does she
so
just
cool.
not have to work at all? Really?
Well, she's a reporter. She's probably getting scoops.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't know. I know. Like, I mean, it's just a story. You can't,
Yeah, I know. We can't have everybody
we can't. They're
clocking
not like
in.
us where we're like, crap, I gotta pay that bill, and they're not. They don't
Yeah.
really have real bills.
No, they don't seem to. They really don't
No,
seem
I don't
to.
think so.
Except for Marty. Marty's getting
Oh,
kicked out of
Marty's
the
in a bad
hospital.
way. Yeah.
He's in a
Yeah.
such and I was wondering, is there any chance that he's gonna become evil, or do you think he's always just gonna be pretty good
Comic.
Marty with a grudge against Tracy?
I hope he stays sort of comic and
Yeah, yeah, me
goodish,
too. Mhm.
but you never know when you're pushed for cash. Who knows?
Mhm. Yeah, right.
He might try something wily
He
just to,
might. Yeah.
yeah.
Huh.
But so he's living with Laura and Kevin and Ace now, who we don't get to
Mhm.
see anymore,
We don't. Although
sadly.
at least they mention Kevin once in a while.
Right, right. They don't
They don't
mention
mention Ace,
too
right?
much, yeah. We
No.
had one mention of Charlotte the other day, like they finally were like, "Oh,
Mhm.
right, she's supposed to,"
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
Like,
they
and they could
probably
work that in. Like even today, they could have been like Tracy could have been. Did Charlotte come to the pool too? Or
Yeah.
they. It'd be
Yeah.
so easy to work in
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
existence of this other child of hers
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
she was
Who's
hell bent on finding.
and now she's abandoned her.
Right, right. Maybe she should only like think about one kid at a time, and that's it.
Yeah, maybe she should
And
have
right now
just
it's
stuck with the
Rocco.
one. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and so we have the birth certificate from Marco. Did Marco look younger to you today?
Mm, I
Was
don't
it
think I
just me?
noticed anything.
Did
What
he
was
get
it
a
about him?
haircut? Because
He
we
might have
know
gotten a haircut.
Cody
Yeah.
got a haircut. We didn't
Yeah.
talk about that. Are you okay with his haircut?
I'm okay with it. I prefer the longer, scruffier hair myself.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
we
know
know
how
how
I
much
am
you
about the
love a
feathery hair.
feathered hair.
Yeah. A la Jackson Brown.
Can I speak at your funeral?
I wish you would.
Whichever one of us goes first.
Oh
The
my
other.
god. I know. I mean, it's something you ought to think about, writing your own something that you want said.
Yeah.
Like just
Yeah.
to get the record straight, get a jump on everybody before they say
You know, I haven't already written what I'm going to say about you.
I'm writing yours right now in my head.
Oh God.
She stirred the rice.
That's what you remember.
Despite being told numerous times not to. She persisted in stirring the rice.
Oh God.
She left the door open.
Oh, and then wondered why there was a chipmunk in her room.
You couldn't figure out why she just picked up the next plague.
Oh boy.
Okay, what else happened on General Hospital?
Well, getting back to the birth certificate. So that
Oh,
did that
yeah, okay.
make it look like Rocco was not Dante's? I there's another see, it's all it's too much for me, Gina.
Oh, I thought they were going for not Lulu's. But you think I honestly, were you actually looking at the birth certificate? Because I like knew that's what it was, but I wasn't studying the.
No,
Did you
maybe
think?
well, all right,
Okay.
so maybe you're right. So these were embryos that were supposedly Lulu's and Dante's, weren't they?
Right, that Brit
Okay, so
stole.
yeah, okay. But yeah, so what does this maybe it doesn't mean anything. Maybe whatever was on but Brooklyn
Well,
looked like she
she's hoping to prove something to that effect.
yeah, that
I
somebody's
yeah.
not who they think they
I
are.
thought the more wounding thing would be that she wasn't a mother, but I guess it would. She's
Yeah.
so like possesses of Dante that maybe it would also be just as
Mhm.
wounding to prove that he wasn't the father. I guess.
He would be twisted in so many knots if he's, he's trying to
Yeah,
come to terms with the thought that he
I
is
know.
his
We'd never
father.
see like good, handsome, loving, wonderful Dante again if they keep
Yeah,
putting
yeah.
this stuff on him. Yeah.
Right. Huh.
Mm.
I
And then
don't
if
know.
somebody clicks a freaking pen around him, look out.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah. I don't wanna
Wowza.
even think
Yeah.
about that because
That's
everybody's
such a
got a
bad
pen.
detail. Nobody uses pens that click anymore. Or really, or at all, like,
Yeah, yeah, much more rare, isn't it? Mm.
yeah, that's why when people start ranting and raving about, they don't teach cursive in school anymore.
I love it when you do a voice.
Or, the memes were like, I'm so glad I grew up before smartphones when I was outside. And I was like, well, you're posting
Yeah.
this freaking meme on your freaking phone right now, you
I
freaking
know,
idiot.
so shut up. Oh, God.
Sorry, I've got a little anger sometimes.
Hadn't noticed.
Yes.
Hmm.
All right. So yeah, I mean, I didn't honestly like. Maybe they showed us a little bit of that birth certificate, and I just didn't. I was just kind of not really looking at what was on it. So
Yeah, I guess I was distracted by Marco and wondering if he
like,
looked younger.
if he'd gotten a haircut, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
but is she just fishing, or I mean, she wouldn't actually know anything. She must just be fishing around for something she can use to.
Yeah, right. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I guess I mean, they can make up whatever they want at this point because, you know.
Yeah, yeah. But can they make Brit alive again? I don't know.
Mhm. Yeah,
Mm. I mean,
right.
they can do anything. They can do anything, of course. But
Yeah. Yeah, I just want her to stay for a comfortable amount of time.
yeah, I'd love it if she stayed forever. She was one of my
Me
faves,
too.
but
Yeah, yeah.
I just don't see, especially since they're doing this storyline that has Brit as a part of it. Like,
Mhm.
they wouldn't be bringing her back as a different character. That would be weird with
That
that going
would be
on, wouldn't it?
weird, yes, it would be, yes, unless it's a twin.
Oh, right. Don't forget the twin thing. Yes. Oh God. Um.
Oh.
Anyway, do you ever watch that show, that Finding Your Roots show with Henry
Oh, yeah,
Livingston?
yeah, yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah. Sometimes,
Mhm.
like, when you're watching those things, like, there was a woman on there last night. I can't remember her name. Comic, I
Mm.
think. But
Yeah,
anyway,
I looked at who was gonna be on
it's
last
like
night, but I didn't
Niecy
watch.
something. But anyway,
Oh, yeah,
they,
yeah, yeah. Niecy Nash?
yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, from
So
Reno 911 and
yeah,
other
yeah,
shows.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
mhm.
So they discovered in the course of this that her grandfather was not actually her grandfather. And so
Mm.
her father had grown up, her father, who was a twin, had grown up thinking this person was his father when he wasn't. And who knows if the father thought he was the father,
Right.
you know? And so they were like, so we didn't want to just hit you with this, on air while your father's
Uh-huh,
probably watching, so they had to
uh-huh,
like stop the show and break this to the father
uh,
and all, and
uh-huh,
it's like,
uh-huh, huh.
so sometimes soap operas are not so far off the mark, with the
That's
with the
true.
wacky things that go
Yeah.
on. And
Life is complicated all by itself, isn't
yeah,
it?
and who was the other one? Oh, Carol Burnett was the other one who had
Yeah.
quite the rough upbringing as well. Um,
Huh. Yeah. Hmm.
and yeah, so people do lead kind of soap opera lives sometimes.
They sure do, Gia. They sure
And
do.
then, and like if she hadn't gone on that show, that information would have just gone to the
Yeah,
grave. Like,
yeah, right. It's funny to
mm,
think about, huh?
yeah, yeah.
Well, they were haven't they said, like, with all these, like, tests, that people can do, they're finding that there's a lot more incest
Than
than
than anybody wanted to know about.
yeah.
I
So
don't
that's
know. Is
fun.
that
That's good
that's a
information.
fun, yeah. It's not as fun as wombat QB poops, but it's
No,
fun.
nothing's that fun. Oh,
Yeah.
and I remembered what else one of our Facebook friends had said. This was Beth Ann, said that
You
she
have this shit
heard.
written down, or you're just rolling these names off your tongue like, oh, that's sweet.
And
You know.
well, I tried to review this information before we started
You're
because
so
I
good. You're such a
didn't want.
professional.
Well, I know nobody believes that, but once in a while I try. But she said, and this was for your benefit, as
Uh-huh.
always, everybody seems to want to help please you.
Well, well,
'Cause and I think it must be
I'm
because they
okay
think
with
you're a
that. I don't
mess.
know what your problem is.
They know you're sort of a train wreck, so they're just trying to
Oh, is
help
that what
prop
it
you
is?
up.
I'm just more needy than you. That maybe that's true. Yeah. I
No, you're
need kind
not.
of bolstering. I need buffing up, you know. But what'd she say? Apparently I missed a bunch. I need to go back to our page.
Well, this one I couldn't find it again when I was just looking for it, so it popped up sort of out of nowhere. But she said they might be working on a sequel or a reboot of Supernatural. I don't remember the
What?
exact.
With the same handsome boys? Oh my goodness.
I think they'd be men now.
I know they were men
Yeah,
then, but
that show went on for a long time, didn't
it
it? And it
did. It did. Yeah.
has it been off the air that long? Really?
I have no idea. I don't know when it ended, but talk
Hmm.
about complicated. Jesus, you'd need
Mm,
some
yeah.
dry erase boards to sort all that shit out too.
Yeah, I can only handle so many shows where I have to take notes, you know?
Yeah. Ooh, a little
Uh,
thunder happening here.
oh, really? Hmm.
Yeah, but it's fun. It started out more serious, but it's like
Mhm.
it's a fun sort of tongue in cheek, very
Mm,
very
mhm.
self-aware, cracks me up kind
Mhm.
of show.
Mhm. Okay.
Plus a lot of bloody, gory, like yeah,
Uh-huh. Yeah,
yeah,
and then the
it's good
boys
stuff.
with their lovely hair.
They're just they're yeah. Well, one has quite short hair, but the other one has nice feathery hair. Yeah.
Mhm.
Sam.
Okay.
Sam
We've
and Dean.
lost Gia. Okay.
The Winchesters. Yep.
Mhm.
Okay, good
Mhm.
to know. Thank you, Beth Ann. I didn't
Mhm.
see that either. I'm
Mhm.
missing information here all the time.
Mm.
Mm,
Between the 2 of us, hopefully we catch it all, and if we
yeah.
haven't, we apologize
We do
because
apologize. It's not on purpose. We're just idiots.
yeah, and you know that if you've been listening at
Right.
all.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Did we cover kind of everything? Sort of, kind
I
of?
I think sorta, kinda, yeah. I think mostly. So, yeah,
Okay.
we've got some
Right.
stuff that's continuing to unfold that should be interesting for the rest of the week, and we'll be
Yeah.
back to our regular day. We are a day early again because Gia's leading some harmonica workshops for the next couple of days,
Yeah.
right?
Wish me luck. Wish me luck. Yeah.
Oh, you'll do great, Gia, you'll do great.
One of many. But
You should
I suppose if
probably
there's a lull, I'll talk about the wombat thing.
that's a good way to
Yeah.
sort of break the ice,
Yeah.
and
And
I
just
was
I'll
gonna
just be like, just by the way,
You have all these fun animal facts. Also a great opportunity to plug the podcast. I think,
Oh yeah,
if
because
you
all
want
these
everybody to just quiet down,
yeah, all these
you know.
dudes are probably General
Yeah.
Hospital fans. Yeah.
I bet a few of them would surprise you, and, nothing
Secretly.
quiets a
Yeah.
room
Yeah.
like talking about your podcast, you know?
Yeah, I could wear my t-shirt and be like,
You
ask me
could.
about
Yeah, yeah, you
Christina.
could,
Yeah,
Gia.
yeah.
Mhm.
All right. I'll think
Okay,
about it. Thanks.
okay.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
But yeah, so on Monday we'll have
We'll be
Thursday,
back.
Friday, Monday. Yeah, yeah, but we'll be
Mhm,
back to regular stuff.
mhm. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We
Alright.
appreciate you folks, and
We really do.
yeah, keep on being extra super supportive of me on Facebook. I love that.
You're like her ketamine.
You're my ketamine. That's a good t-shirt.
Oh god.
Probably not. That probably people wouldn't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Some of our other ones have really been good, but that one's not.
That one may be a
Yeah.
controversial one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
Okay, well, everybody have a lovely evening, and we'll talk to you in a few days.
Yeah, okay, Godspeed, Gia. Have a good
Thank
time.
you. Thank you very
Okay.
much. All right.
Alrighty.
All right. See ya.
Bye.